Devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter number 10 and verse number 10. The chapter is Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'll share my screen. Maharaj, we are not able to see you fully. Maharaj, can you please tilt your screen a little bit? Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Purushandan Vinirvidhyan Yada Sosa Vinirgataha Atmano Yanam Avinschan Aposak Sik Chuchi Suchihi. After separating the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord Mahavishnu, which came out of the cause of ocean, the place of appearance of the first Purusha avatar, entered into each of the separate universes, desiring to lie on the created transcendental Garbhodaka, water. Purport. After analysis of the living entities of the Supreme Lord Paramatma, the independent source of all living beings, Srila Sukadeva Goswami is now presenting the prime necessity for devotional service to Lord, which is the only occupational business of all living entities. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and all his plenary portions and extensions of plenary portions are non-different from one another. And thus the supreme independence is in each and every one of them. In order to prove this, Sukadeva Goswami, as promised to King Parikshit, describes here in the independence of the Purusha avatar, personality of Godhead, even in the sphere of material creation. Such activities of the Lord are also transcendental, and therefore they are also called leelas, or pastimes of the absolute Lord. Such pastimes of the Lord are very conducive to the hearers for self-realization in the field of devotional service. Some may argue, then why not relish the transcendental Leela of the Lord as exhibited in the land of Mathura and Vrindavan, which are sweeter than anything in the world? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies that the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan are meant to be relished by advanced devotees of the Lord. Neophyte devotees will misunderstand such supreme transcendental activities of the Lord, and therefore the Lord's pastimes in the material sphere related to creation, maintenance, and destructions are verily relishable by the Prakriti or mundane devotees of the Lord. As the yoga system mainly bases on body exercises, is meant for persons who is too much attached to the bodily conception of life. Similarly, the Lord's pastimes related to creation and destruction of the material world are for those who are too materially attached. For such mundane creatures, the function of the body and the functions of the cosmic world through physical laws in relationship to Lord are also therefore included in understanding the lawmaker, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The scientists explain the material function by so many technological terms of material law, but such blind scientists forget the lawmaker. Srimad Bhagavatam points out the lawmaker. One should not be amazed by the mechanical arrangements of the complicated engine or dynamo, but one should praise the engineer who creates such a wonderful working machine. That is the difference between the devotee and the non-devotee. Devotees are always full of praising the Lord, which directs the physical laws. In the Bhagavad Gita 9:10, the direction of the Lord on the material nature is described as follows. Mayadakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kunteya Jagavivari vartate. The material nature full of physical laws is one of my different energies. Therefore, it is neither independent nor blind. Because I am transcendently all-powerful, simply by glancing over the material nature, the physical laws of nature work wonderfully. The action and reaction of the physical laws of nature on that account, and thus the material world is created, annihilated, created, maintained, and annihilated again and again. Men with a poor fund of knowledge, however, become astonished by studying the physical laws, both with the construction of the individual body and with the cosmic manifestation. And foolishly they cry the existence of God, taking it for granted that the physical laws are independent without any mechanical control. The Gita replies to this foolishness, Avajanti mamudha malashim tanurasvatam parambhav magyanato mama bhuta maheshwar. The foolish men, which are known as mudha, do not know the personality of Godhead in this eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The foolish man thinks of the transcendental body of the Lord as something like his own, and therefore he cannot think of the unlimited controlling power of the Lord, who is not visible in the action of physical laws. The Lord is, however, visible to the eyes of the people in general when he descends himself in his own personal potency. Lord Krishna incarnated himself as he is and played very wonderful parts as the Lord himself. And the Bhagavad Gita concerns such wonderful actions and knowledge. Yet foolish men will not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Generally, they consider the infinitesimal and finite features of the Lord because they themselves are unable to become either the infinitesimal or the infinite. But one should know that the infinitesimal and the infinite sizes of the Lord are not his greatest glories or highest glories. The most wonderful manifestation of the Lord's power is exhibited by the Lord's infinite because it becomes visible to the eyes of one of us. Yet activities are different from those of the finite beings. Lifting a mountain at the age of 7 years old and marrying 16,000 wives in the prime of his youth are some examples of Krishna's infinite energy. But the mudhas, after seeing them or hearing about them, decry them as legendary and take the Lord as one of them. They cannot understand that the Lord Sri Krishna, though in a uniform human form by his own potency, is still the Supreme Lord with full potency as the Supreme Controller. When, however, the mudhas give submission and oral reception to the message of the Lord as the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, through the channel of disciplic succession, such mudhas also become devotees of the Lord by the grace of the pure devotee. And for this reason only, either in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of the Lord in the material world are delineated for the benefit of those men who have a poor fund of knowledge. Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirmasesa Sunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Rama. So the great souls and even the Lord himself, they don't neglect the mudhas, the fools, the rascals, the gross materialists, the ignorant materialists. They point out their mistakes to help them learn what they should learn. So it's very merciful that the great souls conclude a lot about the foolish people in the material world, just so they can understand what is actual the standard and get rid of their foolishness. But many of them, most of them, are so dull that they think their foolishness is better than what they hear from the Lord or from the pure devotees. But still, the pure devotees don't give up on the foolish materialists. Because if they can save one of these rascals from the cycle of birth and death, that's a great achievement. And the Lord is very pleased by that. But and so Bhagavatam spends a lot of time talking about the gross materialists who are making a humbug civilization out of this material world and causing so much problems and claiming to be authorities in different categories of knowledge. But what is their authority? Their authority is based on their own mind, which is speculation. They speculate, they observe, they empiricize, they create some instruments which are created by their own imperfect senses, and they try to give perfect knowledge. But they have no understanding. And they cannot relish the pastimes of the Lord. But some of them are interested in the material energy and how it works. So they may also try to investigate to find more about that knowledge and come to these spiritual topics. And it's good. If they do that, they get an understanding of the greatness of God and how the material energy works. And that sets them for the stage of bhakti. Although they're jnanis at best, they're not even jnanis, they're just material speculators, trying to accumulate knowledge in order to fortify their position in the material world, to get some kind of honor or some material gain. Still, they gain something by coming in contact with this transcendental knowledge, which is about creation. As Prabhupada says, the devotees of the Lord, they're not so much interested in hearing about creation, but they do, and they take time because many of them understand that because we understand Krishna as the powerful creator, we can understand him as the sweet boy in Vrindavan. This is why everything according to creation is given at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, just to prepare one's consciousness for those who continue to take shelter of Bhagavatam and hear from Bhagavatam and hear from persons who know Bhagavatam and go up all the way to the final cantos, which is the smiling face of Krishna in Vrindavan. But they can't understand Krishna in Vrindavan because they think it's just some, what we say, what does they call it, mythology, or some, somebody's ideas just to make some philosophical teachings. But Prabhupada said the great souls don't have any business doing anything, writing anything fiction. They're interested only in the absolute truth. But these persons, and of course even devotees, when we come in contact with this knowledge, we come basically from this particular point of view. Krishna, the powerful controller, creator, and maintainer, and also destructor of the universal affairs. And that sets the stage for hearing about Krishna in Vrindavan. And that way they can connect both of these same persons, Krishna as the creator and Krishna as the Vrindavan. He manifests himself in Mahavishnu as the creative forces, and he expands himself into himself in different manifestations of Mahavishnu, such as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and other manifestations of his creative energy, such as Lord Brahma, to facilitate the creation of the next manifestation. So the living entities can again have a chance to get out of the material world. How much trouble, you might say, the Lord goes just to facilitate, get the conditioned souls back to him in devotional service. We left him We had no regard for him, and we left him. We came to this world to try to become the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer. We can't do that, but he won't leave us alone because we are intimately connected to him in loving devotion. So as a loving father, he does everything within his all-powerful nature to attract us back home. But one thing he doesn't do, he doesn't interfere with your independence. You can accept it or you can reject it. Those who are intelligent will accept it, just like those who want to benefit, but by being in the family, they obey the parents. And those who don't want the benefit of the family life, they disobey, and sometimes they're ostracized from the family. But here we see how the Lord has to go through so much, you might say trouble, just to manifest the creative energies so the conditioned souls can again have a chance to get out and come back to him in loving devotional service. And here, the great souls also manifest various types of explanations of how the material world is causing the conditioned souls to suffer in so many different ways. Just to remind them that there's a way out of your suffering. And then they give the formula, of course, the process of pure devotional service. So this purport really illustrates a lot about the compassion of the great souls and the Lord, that they take so much time to help the conditioned souls come back to their constitutional position as eternal servants and not waste time playing with the material energy. That's all they do. They speculate, they play with the material energy, come up with some theories, which are thrown out in a few years by another scientist who has a little bit better knowledge. And it continues in this way year after year. They're always speculating. And sometimes they write books, and many of their books contradict each other's books. And they also contradict the actual absolute truth coming from the revealed scriptures. But still, Krishna does something to somehow or other wake them up from their illusion. He doesn't give up. If he gave up on us, where would we be? We wouldn't be able to even we wouldn't even look forward to waking up in the morning because there'd be no meaning to life. So this is Krishna's. And Prabhupada wants to make a distinction between the different types of devotees. The supreme transcendental activities of Krishna in Vrindavan is misunderstood by the Prakriti Sahajas, the materialistic devotees, because they cannot understand Krishna, because they are still very much connected with the material energy. And even though they hear about Krishna, they'll never understand. So therefore, to give them a basic principle of understanding of Krishna's Leelas, this is meant mostly for the Prakriti Bhaktas, for those who are just learning the process of devotional service and need to hear about this. Of course, you also find devotees who come to our movement. They have some scientific acumen. They like to hear about scientific things. So they get really inspired by these books. But this inspiration just teaches them a little bit about how the Lord works in order to facilitate the creation. And it creates a mood of awe and reverence within the hearts of those devotees. But ultimately, we want to come to the platform of love, and that is only done on the when Krishna's sweet transcendental activities are narrated by the great souls, and the devotees take time to relish those activities and absorb themselves in these activities, and then they get an understanding of the deep, sweet, and personal nature of Krishna. You talk to people about God nowadays, they don't have any idea. They're always giving some ideas based on what they think is right or what they heard from somebody else. They have no knowledge. Because they have no knowledge, they continue to try to cultivate material knowledge as a replacement for the real knowledge, which is Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. So yeah, these pastimes, both for the Prakriti Sahajas and for the materialists, not Prakriti Sahajas, the Pratita Bhaktas, I'm sorry, both of these are meant to connect them to the Lord in a very simplistic way, Lord as the creator. Okay, so very elaborate and very detailed purport. So this purport is also pointing that devotees who are serious and been practicing devotional service should take interest in hearing Krishna's pastimes in his in Vrindavan, or any of the pastimes that glorify the Lord when he is there with his pure devotees. We have to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. If we don't, we'll never make progress to the ultimate goal of life because we won't understand who Krishna is. We'll speculate and we'll get a partial understanding. To have an understanding of him as a great creator and a very powerful personality who is the beginning and end and middle of everything is simply preliminary knowledge. Real knowledge is Krishna's activities in his personal abode in Sri Vrindavan Dham, which he manifested in this world as Boma Vrindavan, the Vrindavan that he brings from the spiritual world to the material world to perform his pastimes here, just to attract the conditioned souls back to him. So you see, even with his personal pastimes, he brings the conditioned souls closer to him simply by performing his pastimes in the material world. He doesn't have to come to the material world. He's not obligated, but no one can obligate the Lord to any activity, but he's very kind and he wants to bring the conditioned souls, his devotees, back to him in loving devotional service. So he comes to display these pastimes in the material world. And if we hear about them, satam prasangam mamavirya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayanakata, we get nectar. It's sweet, it's juicy, it's relishable. We want more. It's like, it's not like any nectar that we get in the material world, because when you get nectar in the material world, you can drink a little bit of it or some of it, and after some time, you want something different, something new. But Krishna's pastimes, each time they're sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. They only become even more relishable. That's the nature of transcendental activities. Okay, so we can stop there and open it up for discussion.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you for nicely explaining this class, this verse. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations? You can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible. Nice to see all of you.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions too? You can raise your hand. Maharaj, I just have a question, like when in the purport Srila Prabhupada is talking about the cosmic manifestation and the metaphysical laws, all that. So, but usually, whenever we devotees, we think of Krishna, we don't usually recognize the energies around us. We just think about the Lord's pastimes and meditate on them. So, yeah, if somebody doesn't acknowledge these energies or the how the world is working, all that, they don't want to go in deep. Is that fine? Even the devotees are focused on their
Maybe
past, Lord.
it's beneficial and necessary to know how the energies are working.
Hmm.
Because everything is energy. All of existence is energy, spiritual energy, material energy. It's all energy. Different kinds of energies, different ways the energies work, different results from their energies. Everything is energy. Everything.
Hmm.
And the source of energy is the supreme energetic Krishna, who puts all the energies in place. And we work according to the energies. The energies influence us, and we also take advantage of the energies. Everything's energy. It's like love is an energy. Anger is an energy.
Hmm.
Feelings are different expressions of energies. Everything's energy. So we want to connect with the spiritual energy when we're uplifted by that energy. And we want to avoid the material energy, which takes us, entangles us in activities in the material world.
Hmm.
It's all energy.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
We got Rishabh here. He's got a question.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You're speaking about envious scientists. And we know that Madhya Adhikari, who is preaching, he avoids the envious people. He doesn't have the full knowledge of the Shastra. So who is preaching to these people and who can actually liberate the most envious people?
He's asking, says that Madhyamarikari avoids the atheist, the envious, who work against spiritual principles and work for material activities. They're envious and they're, what we say, duplicitous. They're ignorant. So who's preaching to them?
And who is able to preach?
Well, Lord Chaitanya saved Jagai and Madai because they had a little bit of, what we say, a spark of devotion in them. And therefore he saved them. And he's also saving the Jagais and Madais today, who exhibit a little bit of interest in spiritual life, even though they may be low-class materialists. But if there's no interest at all, then the only thing that can help them is to get continually they suffer in material energy until they get tired of suffering. Maybe, perhaps, in the midst of their suffering, they'll meet a spiritual person, and that'll give them a chance to get out of their suffering.
I was thinking maybe this is like Uttam Adhikari who comes to the platform Madhya to preach. Maybe he can deliver that.
Yeah, but generally we avoid these people. And somehow, if they somehow come in contact with the spiritual energy, maybe they come to a kirtan or hear the sound of the holy name, or maybe they get some prasadam. They get a little bit purified. And maybe in due course of time, you'll again have another opportunity, which will bring them even closer. But yeah, and that's why we spread this Krishna consciousness everywhere. We invite everyone to take part, even the non-devotees.
Feel angry when they start to preach against us. I'm like, I'm gonna fight you.
Well, if they exhibit resistance, then don't bother with them. Yes. We got
Thank you, ma'am.
Abhishek.
Yeah, Abhishek Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, here in the purport is written that as the yoga system mainly based on bodily exercise is meant for the person who are too much attached to the bodily conception of existence. Similarly, the Lord's pastime related to creation and destruction of the material world are for those who are too much materially attached. So Maharaj, I didn't understand this point.
What was the first part again?
Uh, the first part was as the yoga system mainly based on bodily exercise is meant for the person who is too much attached to bodily conception of existence. Similarly, the Lord's pastime related to the creation destruction of the material world are for those who are too materially attached.
Okay, and then what's the follow-up?
We want to
The
understand
question-
more about that.
Understand this.
Could understand
The yoga
Wow.
mainly based on body is meant for a person who's too much attached to the bodily conception of life. Yeah. It's that, bodily exercises. Hatha yoga. Hatha yoga is one part of the Ashtanga yoga system, but you can't perform Hatha yoga alone and expect to get spiritual realization. All it is it helps to control the mind and senses. That's all. Nothing about the Supreme Lord. Nothing about devotional service. People are attached to that. So probably I'm just making a statement. The yoga system is meant for people who are on that, bodily conception of life. That gives them a chance to at least come to one aspect of yoga.
No, I didn't understand the second part. Similarly, the Lord's pastime related to creation and destruction of material world are for those who are too materially attached. That's
Yeah, so also devotees who are too much materially attached find this type of subject matter the most interesting. They don't go and read Krishna's or hear about Krishna's pastimes and his personal features in Vrindavan with his devotees or any of the Leela avatars. They're mostly interested in the material aspect, the laws of material nature, which is mundane. He's talking about devotees.
but Maharaj, about the purport, it is written that only the pure devotees can relish the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan and Mathura.
Yeah,
So,
become a pure devotee.
so where we should focus means on Krishna's pastimes about Vrindavan, or we should focus on this. I mean, what we should focus on Krishna.
When
How?
Lord Chaitanya came to teach us these things, he's also teaching the mood of Vrindavan. He's chanting the holy name. He's engaging us in devotional service. And he talks about the highest activity is the residents of Vrindavan and their love for Krishna, the gopis. So follow Lord Chaitanya. Hear about, we may not be able to understand them, but at least you can hear about the basic preliminary understandings of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Not his most intimate pastimes with his personal associates. Those intimate pastimes, you'll get bewildered. You may also find yourself getting more and more attached to material sense gratification by hearing them because you'll misunderstand them. But you can hear about Krishna's pastime. Well, Prabhupada put out Krishna book for us to read. The whole Krishna book is the summary of the 10th canto of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. You may not be able to read Bhagavatam, but at least you can read Krishna book. It's in the story form of the same knowledge. So if we don't hear about Krishna, how are we going to get attracted to Krishna? we don't get attracted to Krishna, how are we going to develop a love for Krishna? Prabhupada used to say, somebody will say to his friend, well, I have a girlfriend and she lives, I have a girlfriend. And the person will say, oh, that's very nice. Where's she live? I don't know. What's her name? I don't know. What does she look like? I don't know. What does she do? I don't know. So I love Krishna. What about it? Do you know anything about him? No. What is the nature of your love? So
One more
so
thing.
Prabhupada given us all these books to learn about Krishna. And he's not, depriving us of anything. The whole 10 cantos, Krishna and Vrindavan. Krishna book is full of Krishna's pastimes. But we have no attraction for those. We're more attracted to maybe something about Krishna and that how he functions in the material world. So you want to get attracted to that? Do two things. Associate with devotees who are also relishing these pastimes. Like here we are. I'm in a kirtan program. This is the second day. We had a half day. Yesterday was the first day. Today's the second day, and tomorrow's the third day. And there's one devotee here. He does kirtan, but he stops in the middle and talks about Krishna's pastimes in the middle of the kirtan, connecting the kirtan with Krishna's pastimes. And he just is talking about Krishna in Vrindavan. And so he's bringing kirtan and Krishna's pastimes together in one presentation, which is very powerful, really powerful. You see, the kirtan actually has a certain mood, which illustrates a different type of pastime of Krishna in Vrindavan. So connecting the different pastimes with the different melodies, he's bringing Krishna in the form of Harinam Sankirtan. And also here we're hearing about Krishna at the same time. It's really relishable. We may not understand everything, but still, if you hear, you'll start developing some attraction. How can you get attracted if you don't hear about Krishna? Your attraction for Krishna will be that he's giving you whatever you need to live in this material world. That will be your attraction. That's all. He's supplying everything I need. And people ask Krishna for these things. Give me wealth. Give me good family members. Give me a good job. Give me good marks in my high school, college. And they think that's devotion. It's not devotion. It's just business. And Krishna's, his name is Krishna because he's all attractive. But you have to get attracted by hearing about him, by serving him, by associating with his devotees, and especially chanting his holy name. Your attraction will awaken because your attraction for Krishna is natural, but it's covered. And these are the ways to uncover that attraction. Chaito Darpana Marjana. Why do Prabhupada write all these books? So we can just put them in our shelf and dust them every once in a while? Have different color, jackets on the books. It looks very nice in our library. Most of the Bhagavatams still have the cover on it, the plastic cover. Nobody opens it because they think it looks better with the plastic cover on it. You got to read them. That's what they're for.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bhagwan Chaitanya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Vaishnavas everywhere. Guru Maharaj, we know that when we go to the spiritual world, everything will be okay. What do we have to do to stay in the material world and not suffer?
You want to stay in the wintertime without getting cold. You want to take a bath without using water.
Well, not total non-suffering, but maybe not complete non-suffering, but our way. Yeah.
Birth is suffering, death is suffering, old age is suffering, disease is suffering, miseries of the body and mind, miseries of other living entities. You have friends and relatives that give you a hard time. They're our biggest enemies, our friends and relatives, most of them.
Yeah.
Then cyclones, wars, epidemics, pestilence, forest fires, droughts, tornadoes. So it's like saying, I want to be happy in hell.
Yeah.
If you want to be, the material world, as Krishna says it, he says it twice in the Gita, just to make a point. He says, Dukkhalayama sasvrata.
Shashwata. Yeah.
It's miserable and it's temporary.
It's temporary. Yeah.
So whatever you gain, you lose.
Yeah.
That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because everything's temporary.
Yeah.
There's a nice, there's a very nice verse in the Christian tradition. Do not put your treasure in a place that could be eaten by moths, stolen by thieves, or what's the other one? Eaten by moths, stolen by thieves, or corroded by rust. Put your treasure in your heart and put your heart in the kingdom of God.
Yes. Beautiful.
Very nice. Matthew 19, I think it is. Those of you who have some Christianity.
Yeah. Yeah. So some famous sayings of Christianity permeate everything.
Yeah.
Like, we know something. Yeah. So it's interesting that you're describing in Krishna says the soul cannot be burned, it cannot be cut, it cannot be, and that is our hint that this is the spirit world and we should seek spirituality.
Yeah. But the body, you have a body, and therefore the body is subject to the laws of material energy. Because you're in the body, you're also being afflicted by that. It's like you're in the house, you're not the house, but whatever happens to the house may also affect you. Say the roof caves in,
Sometimes it does.
The water pipes break.
First, yeah.
Or, there's a big blast of wind and your window gets thrown against the wall. So I think people who live in the material world will testify that this place is a place of suffering, but they can't get out. That's the point. They won't take the means to get out, and at the same time, they'll still acknowledge that they're suffering. Krishna gives you a way out. Devotional service is nice because it descends from the spiritual world into the material world to purify the hearts of the devotees who take part in those spiritual activities. And you can experience the elements of the spiritual world even while you're still in this material world.
Mhm.
So you can be happy here if you're Krishna conscious.
Yes, yes. Um, so
You don't have to get out to be happy. You have to get out of the material consciousness and then bring in the spiritual consciousness. Then you're bringing in that higher energy, which overcomes the material energy. Krishna conscious. When you're Krishna conscious, you have everything. But Krishna consciousness is a process. It takes time and it takes attention.
yes, Maharaj. One of the things that most attracted me to Krishna consciousness is that I always used to think a monk means sitting somewhere doing nothing. And at one point, Prabhupada said, you do activity, you have to do activity, you cannot not do activity, so do devotional service.
Yeah, I used to think like that when I first joined.
Yeah.
I joined in New York City, and I thought, I don't want to practice spiritual life in New York City. I want to go to a nice, serene place. So the devotees pointed out there's a place called New Vrindavan. It's a farm community. And I was thinking, wow, that's nice. I can just lay back and look at the stars and feel spirit.
Feel exactly. That's what he's. Yeah.
But then when I got there, they put me to work. So there goes my dream plan. But it was no better than a dream plan because nobody can enjoy life without performing activities.
Activities, yes.
We have okay, Bhagavan, thank you. You're always shaking us up. Thank you with your questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Your mercy, Maharaj.
Good, thank you.
Shivakumar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madhu. Hare Krishna Maharaj, and out prompts. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj. Maharaj, one question I had, Maharaj, on sharing bhakti. When we kind of try to share bhakti with others, if there is this thought of persuading them and presenting bhakti in a way that will be received in a better way, is that a right approach, Maharaj, or would that by any means?
Well, you see, I know you, Shiv, you're philosophical. You're very philosophical. And so you think in bringing people in from that position. But that's only one way. Most times we put the philosophy in the background and we try to give people an experience based on an experience that attracts them. So say come to the temple, take part in the kirtan, come and just be in a nice spiritual atmosphere, take some Krishna prasadam. Like that. We let them experience something. The philosophy comes later.
Okay.
Prabhupada didn't dump the philosophy on us right away. But he served out prasadam. That was the first thing he did. And then he also was given Bhagavad Gita classes. And people were a little bit interested. But prasadam was there. And many people came to Krishna conscious because they got attracted by prasadam. Or I got attracted because I met the devotees and I felt that these people were really real people who were genuine people who were kind and very, very happy. When I saw the devotees, I said, these people are happy. That's what attracted me. Their happiness of the devotees.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so philosophy is one way, but it's not always the initial way to attract people.
Mm, 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 mm.
It can
Okay.
be for certain people, but those people are generally in minorities. Mhm.
Mm, mm. Okay. Maharaj, just one follow-up question, Maharaj, if I may ask. Now, this Sukriti that we are trying to give, like you mentioned, prasadam, that I also kind of do it, Maharaj, because I cook for myself. So whenever I get a chance to interact with others, I try to kind of share some prasadam with them. I just wanted to just little bit understand, Maharaj, the amount of Sukriti one needs to take a bhakti, does it vary from person to person, Maharaj?
Yes, obviously, yeah. Not everyone is in the same
Hmm.
level.
Hmm.
Yeah. The process will work. People will be attracted in one way or the other.
Hmm.
Of course, we go out and distribute books. Sometimes they get a book and they read something, and that perks their interest.
Hmm.
So people's Sukriti, some people have no Sukriti,
Hmm. Hmm.
but therefore Prashadam will work best for those type of people.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. No.
Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Silpesh
But I
Prabhu.
think because you're very philosophically inclined and you're a thinker, you can also use that to attract people. But
Yes.
you have to do it in such a way as to make them think also.
Okay.
Like there's one devotee in London. That's
Hmm.
actually a group of people it's called Think Gita.
Hmm.
Think Gita.
Hmm.
And one of their activities is they go to gatherings where people are.
Hmm.
They'll meet people and they'll say, yeah, here, this is the Bhagavad Gita. They'll explain something. They'll
Hmm.
say, think of a question you want to ask, any question, something that you want to ask,
Hmm.
and then open the book and see if you don't, if you get the answer wherever you open the book randomly.
Hmm.
And it works most of
Hmm.
the time. I think practically all of the time,
Hmm.
when they open the book, that's the answer to their question.
Hmm.
And they say,
Hmm.
wow, that's that's amazing, you know.
Hmm.
So there's one devotee, he's a good friend of mine, he does that.
Hmm.
And he became so effective in doing that that he met one person who was the head of a country. She was the daughter of a king of Azerbaijan,
Hmm.
one of the former communist countries, which is no longer communist. And he just happened to be at a place where she was, and he
Hmm.
met her. She liked him, and she invited him into the country.
Hmm.
And now he's giving talks to thousands of people who are school teachers and leaders in there about Bhagavad Gita
Hmm.
because they like the knowledge and they think they can use this knowledge to help their students.
Hmm. Hmm.
We don't talk so much about the spiritual aspect, although they know it, but at the same time, they like the philosophy of Gita and they can see how they can use it to improve their educational systems,
Hmm.
help the kids get more of a complete education.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he just sent me a whole series of photos and of what they're doing, and it's amazing. You
Hmm.
know, hundreds of people are coming to his lectures. There
Hmm.
was three people two people from London and one devotee from Radhanath Swami's disciples. They went, and it was an amazing program. And so gradually, they're going to start to introduce this knowledge into the schools.
Hmm.
So you never know who you're going to meet out there. And one time, one of our devotees, he met one movie star,
Hmm.
big famous movie star, and this was in Croatia. So he introduced me to the movie star, and the movie star and I got along together. And he rented me a limousine a beautiful, big, gigantic white limousine. And he was driving me all around the country of Croatia, showing me all of the historical sites like that. Started coming to our programs. And he also got me on the media so I could speak Krishna consciousness.
Oh,
You never know who you're going to meet out there. Some famous people, they like Krishna conscious because they understand something about the value of spirituality. People who have some culture, that is, not just famous people, but people who are cultured, who have some refined sentiments, who are more or less, have good qualities, a combination of the mode of passion and ignorance and goodness. You never know. And they get you into places where you'll never get in before. How did we spread Krishna consciousness in London? One devotee met the Beatles, and the Beatles got us in. And because of the Beatles, we got this Bhaktivedanta Manor in London. George Harrison bought it. He gave that. It was his personal house. So yeah, get out there and start talking to people. You never know who you're going to meet.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you for sharing your experience, Maharaj. And I'm making a note of the attraction that you talked about, that attracted yourself, your holiness into the movement. I'm making a note of it, Maharaj. The kindness and happiness of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Selfish. Gee.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your lotus feet and the assembled devotees. Yeah, Guru Maharaj, I saw some of those photos of Raj Mukunda, and they looked like they were giving the talk. It's like a palace ballroom. Looks absolutely amazing, the venue. My question was about the Chaturvyuha. As plenary expansions of Balaram, all other expansions come from the Chaturvyuha, but why are they not worshipped in their own right?
They are Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. They manifest there when Krishna comes in the material world, and they also associate with Krishna. Pradyumna is Krishna's son, and he was also a warrior during the time when Krishna was there. Aniruddha, I think he's the grandson of Krishna. And there's a story of him also in the Bhagavatam. So they come in a personal form to assist the Lord in his pastimes. But there is devotees who worship them in the spiritual world also. There's devotees of Aniruddha, there's devotees of Pradyumna, which are part of the Chaturvyuha, which is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, 4 aspects of the absolute truth. These 4 appeared again as what is it? When Lord Ram came, he was Vasudeva. Sankarshan was Lakshman. Pradyumna, I believe, was Bharat. And Aniruddha was Satrugna. So they come and assist the Lord in his pastimes in the material world. And they also have their leelas in the spiritual world also.
So it's more that they're worshipped as their expansions or their avatars that they come as in this world, rather than directly.
Yeah. But there's stories in the Bhagavatam about Pradyumna, how Pradyumna was found in the ocean by one lady called Rati, who was his wife in a previous incarnation. And that's a whole story about that. You can read that about. It's in the Krishna book. You can find it towards the later part of the Krishna book. Yeah, there's a lot about Pradyumna. Pradyumna is also Cupid. He's the spiritual Cupid, not the material Cupid. The material Cupid is an expansion of the spiritual Cupid. The material Cupid now is disembodied because he offended Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva burnt him to ashes in one shot. So he's still there, but he doesn't have a body. So that's Pradyumna, who is the spiritual Cupid. He's transcendental.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. We've been reading the Krishna book every evening in a group. That's why these questions are coming up. And we're reading the Krishna book in a online group every evening. So that's why these questions came up. And it's really
good.
Reading in a group. It really, really makes a difference.
Yeah. These 4 incarnations also manifest as the 4 symbols of the Lord. The conch, the lotus, the disc, and the club are also manifestation of the Chaturvud Vyuhas, where the weapons are actually personal, not just some dead material. They're actually personal. They're sentient. That's the difference between material and spiritual. Everything spiritual is conscious. Everything material is just dead matter. That's all. What gives life to material is the presence of spiritual. Our bodies have life because we're inside it. When you leave the body, your body is just a bag of chemicals. That's all. That's all it is.
Guru Maharaj, if Krishna is in every single atom, then how do we understand that material stuff is dead then? Is there not some form of, I don't know, life in it? If Krishna is in every single atom?
Well, the atoms move. You look underneath the microscope, they can see atomic particles, they move. But when they come together to form a particular form, they need the presence of personal spirit to activate them. Krishna's there, but he's not the active force in that energy when it becomes a particular form, such as just like when you come into the body, so does the super soul come into your body. But the body is made of material particles. And so atomic particles also have the presence. Actually, if you look into the atomic particle with certain powerful microscopes, you can see the whole universe in an atom. Even in the smallest element of material energy, the whole cosmic universe is presented. So if you understand everything, you understand everything is Krishna and Krishna's energy. That's all.
But to say something is material, is that not a misnomer then, in that sense?
There's no such thing as material.
Right.
Everything's spiritual, but material means cut off. When you cut something off from the source, it no longer has any relevance. And then it becomes, what we say, used by the persons who cut it off. And therefore, that's material. When you connect the object to the source of the object, that's spiritual. So devotional service means to use all material elements in the service of the Lord. And if it's not in the service of the Lord, it's material. If it's in the service of the Lord, it's spiritual. You take iron, and iron is iron. But if you put it into the fire and you leave it there, it becomes like fire. If you take the material energy and bring it back into the spiritual energy, it starts to become like, it retains its spiritual essence again. So the secret is to use everything in the service of the Lord as much as you can. And what you can't, just don't abuse it, misuse it, or neglect it. Just see it for what it is. That's all. It's Krishna's energy.
Sorry, Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
This science is really fascinating.
Dear devotees, any more questions or comments?
I have another 20 minutes if you have some questions.
Sure, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a question. It's related to yesterday's class when we are talking about Paramatma in our heart. So, as a practicing devotees, we look for knowledge through spiritual master. But what will be the stage of bhakti where we can get the knowledge, or we will realize the knowledge from the Paramatma from within? So, what will be that stage of bhakti when we can reach?
Turn to Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter,
Yes.
verse number 7.
Yes, ma'am.
Jidatman prashantasya paramatma samanvitam sitnosna sukadukeshu tatamama pamanayaho. For one who has conquered the mind, the supersoul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. So, the effects of controlling the mind is that one automatically follows the dictations of Paramatma, the Supersoul. Because this transcendental position is at once achieved by one who is Krishna conscious, the devotees of the Lord is unaffected by the dualities of material existence, namely distress, happiness, heat, and cold. This state is practical samadhi, or absorption in the Supreme. So as soon as your mind is fully controlled, then you can connect with Supersoul. But then again, what is a fully controlled mind? And that means you're completely peaceful, tranquil, not disturbed by the external energies.
So,
It's a stage of it's a level of Krishna consciousness that is achievable.
Yes, Maharaj. So I think this is in relation to the question asked by Bhagavan Chaitanya Prabhu. Like when you answered, if you are Krishna conscious, you'll be happy. So that means that when we have a controlled mind and not affected by what's happening around us, and so the same, like whatever I mentioned here. So this that relates to the answer, Maharaj. Like being Krishna conscious will make you happy, and you'll get all the knowledge.
When you're under Krishna consciousness, you're above the material energy, you're on the transcendental platform. Happiness is automatically there. You can even be happy if you control your mind and senses and detach yourself from everything material. Then you can experience the happiness of your own self, which is the soul. Because the soul is by nature joyful.
Yes. Yes, Maharaj. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have to learn to control the mind and senses.
Mm.
Detachment is one of the easiest ways to help to control the mind and senses. Detach yourself from everything material. Focus on spiritual.
Mm.
As long as you're still attached to the material, you can't control your mind. Because the material will just attract your mind to think in different ways to try to fulfill that desire. If you're trying to fulfill a material desire, you can never be peaceful.
Mm. Yes, that's true.
We talked about Pingala yesterday, I think. What was it? Pingala? The prostitute. The whole chapter in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. She was a prostitute, but at one point, everything changed and nobody was coming to her anymore. And she needed the money to live. And so she was really anxious and she was getting distressed. Nobody was coming. And then at one point, she got so overwhelmed with her own distress that she just gave it all up. She stopped trying to fulfill that desire. And when she did, after some time, she was completely peaceful. As soon as you stop trying to fulfill material desires, your mind is peaceful. Then you can perform devotional service nicely.
Mm. So that means also like accepting whatever is happening around you. Like for suppose my example, Maharaj, like I just traveled from US to India, and there's a lot of change every time I come to India, and sometimes I wonder like how the things are working here. So sometimes we get disturbed and get lost in that thoughts, all that. So yeah, I feel that accepting whatever it is going on around me will give me peace.
If you can
More.
make it, you can make a difference that will be beneficial, fine. But
Mhm.
most of the time we can't. We just accept it the way it is.
Yeah.
But remember Krishna through all of these situations, and therefore we can accept whatever happens because we're not affected because we are connected with Krishna.
Mhm.
Krishna
Yes.
says, whatever you do it for me.
Mhm.
Whatever you eat, offer to me. Whatever austerities you perform, do it for me. Whatever charity you offer, do it for me. He emphasizes doing things for him as the process for detachment from everything material.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank
If
you
you're
so
going to
much.
get married so you can improve your Krishna consciousness and live in that atmosphere as a servant of Krishna, as a servant of your husband and wife. Then you're detached from everything material. You're fulfilling the role that you need to fulfill, playing the role within the family, and then everything will work accordingly. But when you want something outside of what is necessary to live, then you create a mentality which will continue to haunt you until you fulfill it, or until you give it up, either one.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very hard to not have them in material desire. So many temptations around us. So
It's easy.
how good, Maharaj? I find it very difficult.
When you look at the material world and you just think, there's nothing here. There's nothing I can use. It's all dry. It's like a rerun black and white movie you saw 700,000 times and then you want to watch it again, you know. What is it? Eating, sleeping, sex life, and defending. That's material life. So devotees they get disinterested. They eat just to maintain the body. They sleep to do the same thing. And if they have family life, they take sex life for procreation of children and not outside. And defending, you don't have to worry about defending because Krishna will protect you if you stay connected with him in devotion.
Hmm. Yes, Maharaj.
It's easy. All you do is transfer everything material into something spiritual.
Mhm.
But don't mistake your personal needs for being material. Those things Krishna allows you to take so you can maintain yourself in this world, so you can practice Krishna consciousness. If you go below what you need or go above what you need, too much or too little, it becomes hard to practice Krishna consciousness. But if you find your level, then you can work nicely with that level. So that's the Christians use the word statement, know thyself. Know what you need to live in this material world.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And when you really come to it, you really don't need much.
That's true. Yeah. Maharaj, through your classes, daily hearing to your classes, I hope most of the devotees, especially myself, I can say that simple living is better than anything else. That realization I have.
You
I'm trying.
survived. You survived coming to Ujjain and GV.
Yes.
You looked like you were happy too.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Well, Rishab has got another question here.
Okay.
So they can take less than 5 minutes. If we can leave the area, they will leave this for a meeting.
Okay.
10 minutes. I had a comment, Maharaj, regarding when you said the sweet nature of Krishna. I was just listening the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya when he was wanted to destroy the pride of big Vijaya Pandit. He was thinking how to destroy his pride but not to humiliate him. So it's like such a sweet aspect of Krishna Chaitanya, how
He's talking about the pastimes of Big Vijay Pandit when he came to Navadvip. He was conquering everyone with his philosophical knowledge. And he presented himself in a proud way before Lord Chaitanya and his followers. And Lord Chaitanya respected him and gave him a chance to exhibit his knowledge. And then Lord Chaitanya defeated it. But he defeated it in such a way that he didn't humiliate him, because he wanted to bring him around. And later on, he actually was a great devotee. Later, he became. He was actually a great devotee anyway. He took that incarnation to appear, and he is what is that person who's the head of the Kumara Sampradaya? What's his name?
Sanatana Kumara.
The head of the
Nimbarka Sampradaya.
Nimbarka Sampradaya. Yeah, that was Nimbarka who came.
Ah.
That was Nimbarka. Lord Chaitanya treated him with respect, and he got some mercy from his worshipful deity at the time, who was Saraswati, who told him, you're a fool. The person that you tried to defeat and who defeated you is my Lord and Master.
Such a sweet how
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya was very gentle with him. He didn't want to, because when the Lord Chaitanya exposed him, his followers started laughing, and Lord Chaitanya told them not to laugh. Yeah, good one. Okay. So we have to leave the place where I'm in. They need this place for some other activities.
Yes, Maharaj.
So we have to stop here. So
Thank
thank
you,
you
sir.
very much. And
Thank you, sir. Wonderful
see-
class.
we'll see you tomorrow,
Yes, good. Yeah.
hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank
Thank you so much, Guru
Thank you,
Maharaj.
Mataji. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.